And welcome to PD Football on our maiden voyage. My name is Presh.
My name is Darren.
And how are you feeling today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Arsenal won. So I guess in footballing terms, I wouldn't say they're as good as they can be. I would have liked to have kept a clean sheet, but thankfully it's not the league. So What about you? How's everything on your end?
Kind of all over the place, but we don't need to get to that. Well, more like you, attuned to my football club. My football club is all over the place, so suddenly I'm all over the place. So the agenda I've set for today is first of all, the Carabao Cup games. And I want to start with Newcastle versus Manchester City.
Newcastle, Man City. What did you make of it? Or
all right. Well, before the match, I just thought that Newcastle could get a lot of joy out of the wings, because Man City have been playing this incredibly narrow, like Christmas tree formation. They play three in the middle, two like inside forwards and a striker.
Yeah.
Right. So they leave a lot of space.
I mean, I guess the fullbacks then have a long distance to cover.
Yes, that's true.
Because they'd have to press the other fullback as opposed to the winger.
And at least in the first half, this is where Newcastle found their space. I counted 3 times when Newcastle got in behind Nathan Ake and put in early crosses, but unfortunately none of them produced a goal.
Yeah, I do remember as well. Newcastle started really well, or at least it seemed like. I think the pressing structure, I think Nunes had too much ground to cover, and he looked lost for a lot of the maybe first 10 or 15 minutes. I think they kind of exploited Nunes. They looked to build up on the left a lot. At least.
Who are you saying?
Man City.
I'm
sorry, Newcastle exploited Nunes. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, yes.
And I'd noticed that they did build up on the left a lot, and then they looked to kind of release the ball quickly to the right as well, once the space was created. But I think...
I disagree. I think the space came in from their right, City's left.
From City's left?
So Nathan Ake, he was like a little bit forward, and Jacob Murphy got in behind on him 3 times in the first half.
Yeah, but the first phase of the build-up was usually on the left to create space for Murphy, I think, because it was a lot of long balls going to Murphy.
Diagonals,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, what I was looking at was that Ake got caught out 3 times. He's an experienced player. He shouldn't be, because O'Reilly was their left back, right? Yeah. O'Reilly played in midfield, yes, 2 nights ago when it was, right? He played at CDM. So I was like, okay, Nathan Ake is going to give them a little bit more defensive stability. And he just didn't. But I think what saved them, I think, is 2 things. First is Johan Wissa just didn't have his shooting boots on.
That's true.
He just wasn't at it at least for the first half.
James Trafford played decently though as well.
And secondly, the defensive work of Max Allain. I've never heard of this chap before, but he apparently is from the youth academy. He was on loan at Watford.
I'd read about him, yeah.
They recalled him on his loan from Watford. So, again, I've never heard of him before, but he put in a good shift. He was very good at that, getting back to defend. But more impressive is he's like going forward. He looked like John Stones.
He's one of your favorites.
Yes, I love John Stones, bro. And they've just got a John Stones regen just coming through, just casually, bro. It's very... it's not nice.
I mean, it's nice for football, I guess, to have another John Stones, but it's not nice if you're a City rival.
Another thing I noticed is that City were playing out of Newcastle's press. A possible reason for this is that 3 days earlier, Newcastle played 120 minutes in the FA Cup against Bournemouth. So they looked a little bit tired. They looked a bit... their press didn't catch City out once, I don't think.
Yeah, I think Newcastle went man-to-man. They generally always go man-to-man as well. I don't think they were very zonal at all. And that usually plays into Man City's hands. I think Man City struggle against Arsenal a bit, at least recently. I think because we hardly go man-to-man. We're very zonal, except goal kicks. I think we go man-to-man on goal kicks. But I think once they turned it into like a man-to-man battle, it also made the long ball an easier option for Man City, because Haaland Haaland and Semenyo could dominate. I think physically it was like they were winning every duel, almost every second ball, from what I noticed, and especially once they kind of stopped, like you said, playing so narrow, and I guess they allowed Semenyo to press Newcastle's left back Lewis Hall, and I think once that happened, like Lewis Hall's passing also became a lot more erratic, and Man City were able to force more errors. And
well, it is something I noticed. Slot has been trying to transition. I'm a Liverpool fan, I should say. Slot has been trying to transition us into a possession-based team, but we still press quite a bit. And I was the only team that really turned us over this year was Man City, and they're very good at breaking a press on their own. But I just thought Newcastle's press wasn't at it either. So both those things in mind, City were just kind of just doing whatever the fuck they. Well, excuse me. City were just doing whatever they wanted in midfield. So I was, that's just not good enough from from Newcastle, excuse me. But again, like I said, they played the FA Cup. So how much blame can we portion onto them? Or could we say that Eddie Howe should be more practical and realize that you can't press high every game for 120 minutes. You gotta, be more tactical and be more possession based in certain games so you can conserve that energy.
Yeah, that would make sense for a team like Newcastle, because with Man City, I guess they're in a weird way they're playing more like Liverpool in the past.
Yes.
Right now.
Liverpool and City are just trying to copy each other.
They're switching styles now. Yes. Almost like they had.
We're both like midway through a transition into the other, and we're both like two ugly ducklings. We just not looking at it. City look better than us, but I digress.
I think like they're still very flawed defensively. I think Man City really will rely this season a lot on outscoring their opponents by having to score 3 or 4 goals. I don't think they're going to keep many clean sheets in terms of over the whole season. So I think this also was kind of evident in the way they kind of changed style, I guess, because I think Pep did it mid-season. If you remember the game against Arsenal, he kind of sat back and he parked the bus. He's never done that before, and I think he hated it.
Although I would say in like the 90-something minute, they all pushed up, and I'm like, that's a team that's never parked the bus in their lives before.
Yeah, they looked confused.
So naive, but yes,
they did it well for most of the game, and I mean the one time they pressed up, we caught them out. So
yes. All right, sorry. Back to the game. In terms of City's threat, at least in the first half, Doku was beating Lewis Miley, who was playing as a makeshift right back because they don't have Livramento. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him, if he's suspended or injured or whatever, but he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and even though he was just beating him, he wasn't delivering any good service from these situations, which is very frustrating. If I'm a City fan, I look at Doku and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
I mean, I guess that's always been the question to his game, is like the technical security when it comes to the final third. He's probably one of the, if not the best dribbler in the Premier League right now, but he often like his output is still way below other players who would have that ability.
I actually went in to do some research, and I found out that he has 1 goal and 4 assists in 18 games this season. So 5 goal involvements in 18 games. So once every 3.5 games, he contributes. This is only for the Premier League. This is not overall competitions, I should mention, right? So basically, that's not good enough for a team of City's ambition. 1 goal or 1 involvement every 3.5 games, right? But then I checked his expected stats, and which is the underlying stats that are punning his performances. I just want to go through them quickly, if that's all right, before we go back to Doku. So do you know what expected goals is?
Yeah, I'm aware of it, actually.
Okay, so I just want to educate our listeners, just to make sure everyone's on the same page, right? Expected goals I often see it being used incorrectly. If, say, Doku has generated 2 expected goals, that doesn't mean he should have scored 2 goals. That means an average player, given that situation or given those situations, would score 2 goals. If Doku scores 0 goals, that means he's underperforming, or he's a what would the word be? He's a below average finisher. But say he scores 4 goals from 2 expected goals, he's an above average finisher, right?
Yeah.
But and XG should not be used over one game. XG should be judged over a number of games, preferably even seasons,
Yeah, I agree.
to see, like, is this player a chronic underperformer? Do they sometimes underperform, sometimes overperform? What is the long-term data
What is
saying about this player, right? So when I first came into contact with the stat, expected goals, or expected, there's assists, there's goal involvements, whatever, right? The advanced stats. The example that stuck with me was Lionel Messi. He was outscoring his goals. This is only goals, right? I was talking about goal involvements for Doku. This is only goals for Messi, right? Messi outscored his goals by 5 to 10 every season, right? Which indicates he's an elite player because he outscores by a huge margin what the average player would do, right?
Yeah.
Lewandowski, another one. He always finishes much higher than what his expected goals are because he's an elite finisher.
Yeah, I mean, in the Premier League, someone who had who was in a similar situation was Son. I remember during his time at Tottenham, he outperformed his expected goals.
Yes, because he's an elite finisher.
Yeah.
Right? Bringing this back to Doku, right? This season, he has generated 9 expected goal involvements. This is goals plus assists, expected goals plus assists. And he's actually returned 4. So he's underperforming goal involvements by 5, which tells me that's a poor player, right? But again, we should judge this over many seasons. And in his first season, he underperformed by 1 goal involvement. His second season, he overperformed by 1 goal involvement. This season, he's underperforming by 5. So that tells me he's just below average. The rest of the season, things will equal out, and he'll probably end up like 1 or 2 within his expected goals. So, why did I mention this? I just don't rate Doku. And I wanted to use some stats just to justify why I don't like him. Right? And following on from him not putting in quality service into the box, I just think Haaland looked frustrated for a lot of the game. Right? And when he dropped deep to link up play, to actually get on the ball and do some stuff, he was poor. And after the game, Pep said, quote, "Hopefully Mamouche returns soon to give Haaland a rest because Haaland is exhausted." So clearly Pep is saying that his poor form is due to exhaustion.
He's
Or
being overplayed.
do you think his fundamentals aren't that great?
Well, I don't know with Haaland because, like, I previously thought maybe his fundamentals aren't good, but not to drift off the Premier League, but he kind of single-handedly got Norway to the World Cup, and that I think all the stats I've seen and the metrics, the games I've watched and the highlights, it is a crazy achievement, and I think it you can't do that off of just being a player that relies on your teammates.
Yeah, but okay, you mentioned goals and contribution. I'm saying link-up play.
Yeah, specifically to his link-up play, I think he keeps getting better at everything. Like, I would say he is now one of the best strikers in the Premier League at link-up play as well. So I wouldn't say you could necessarily drop him in that regard. Like, the amount of chances he creates and the amount of assists he gets is still above most number 9s, probably in Europe generally.
Oh, all right. I agree with his output, but I'm just saying I haven't been convinced with his interplay, especially in the big games when he's required more time on the ball.
I don't think it matches his output, but I think it's still above average where it doesn't make sense to drop him or play him in a different position. That would just be what I would think
Yeah.
personally, because I think he's still probably the best player in the league in terms of, if you have him in your team, you have the highest chance of winning. For me personally.
All right. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the first half, because at halftime I left my cousin's house to go home, but I stopped to get some food as well, and I missed a large portion of the second half.
Oh,
So-
that's why you asked me, did I watch the second half? I thought you were working, bro.
My remaining thoughts are purely based on highlights now. I can't tell you about the patterns of play that happened in the second half or anything like that. All I can say is that early on in the second half, Doku beats Miley and puts in a cross. The cross is deflected and Semenyo has a tap.
But based off of what you're saying about Doku, I know you don't rate Salah as well, but in terms of, Salah's probably had two of the greatest Premier League seasons of all time now. Do you think Doku could potentially have seasons that still win Man City things? Is it worth it to keep him? Like we've had players that have underperformed these metrics before, but have gone on to overperform them at a later stage in their careers. Because I still see him. You could use him either way. Like if he's willing to be an impact player, I wouldn't get rid of him necessarily. So I wouldn't say I don't rate him, but I don't rate him necessarily as one of the best players in the league. But I think as an impact player, he could be one of the best impact players, because he has the ability to shift the momentum of games, like just through what he does with the ball.
I think it's an unfair comparison with Salah, because Salah is more of a finisher. Doku's more of a creator. So
Yeah, but he could even peak in creativity. I'm just saying he could be a late bloomer in essence, more than I'm saying it's necessarily specific to possession. But he has a lot of the fundamentals to be a good creative player in my mind, or one of the top players. Like, if his final pass, like you said, was good, if just like Salah was always getting in positions to score, it was clear that if he became an elite finisher, he would score and assist a high number of goals. So I'm saying you don't see that Doku could get a high number of assists if he eventually gets the final pass right.
No. Because I don't think he will get the final pass right. The reason being, the one thing I don't think you can coach is good decision making. It just boils down to the player themselves, and that also comes with experience,
But you could put them in a system that limits their decision making.
You could. I agree with that. But if he's a creative player, you want him to kind of just do what, you want
That's
him
not
to
always what Pep wants, though.
That's true, okay. I understand that. But I'm saying, Doku, his decision making is so poor. I don't know what could make him. You would think an elite coach like Pep would fine-tune, his good points and, iron out the bad points. You would turn him into like a Sterling or even a Sane. I understand they're different, but, I'm talking about output, right? Doku, he's had his chance. It's been 3 years now. And I just don't think... now, what we're talking about with Salah, I think... Okay, I don't want to slam Salah in our first episode too badly, because, Liverpool fans love him, and...
I love him.
His output justifies a lot of the nonsense that he does.
Yeah.
For example, not tracking back enough. Not... people online will pick, 1 moment out where he tracked back once and be like, oh, there you have it. Oh, look at you. You thought he doesn't track back, do you? Look at this. And I'm like, oh, wow, you caught me. Don't I look like a fool? Right? But the fact of the matter is, he doesn't do enough defensive work. He doesn't beat his man regularly. But none of that comes down to decision making. That's just his... I don't think his body can beat a man anymore. I don't think he has the pace for it. That's one thing. So Salah and Doku are very different players. I just don't think that's a fair comparison. And it comes down to decision making, which is not something I can quantify or say, oh, Salah is a 9 out of 10 decision making, Doku has a 5 out of 10. It's like, you see it, when you see it, you know it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think he could be, it could be a fair comparison in the sense of, I think he could become a very effective player if Pep Guardiola plays the way he wants to play, or the way he has played historically.
Yeah.
And I think he probably signed Doku in that context. And I think since he's working with Pep Landers, his philosophy's evolved. So, well, whether it's evolved or devolved, that's up to your personal interpretation of it. But I do think he should be, I think he can be, me personally, a top player if his decision making is limited.
But everyone feels that, right?
Yeah,
That's the popular consensus around Doku. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. But we're getting too bogged down in this. The next thing is that there was a goal disallowed by VAR, goal by Semenyo.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous decision.
How so?
I mean, was Haaland interfering with play? Does it have to delay for 5 minutes? I don't think so.
But so the commentator on the highlights that I was watching said VAR is ruining the game or something like that.
I don't think it's ruining the game, but
no, I mean not the game as in football, the game as in that particular game, because it took so long to come to a decision. It was such a marginal call. It was like very subjective. But the rules are the rules, right? He was standing in an offside position, or at least his leg was offside.
But did he affect play though?
He stopped the person from diving to, the person, the defender was in a position to perhaps dive and stop the ball.
Maybe.
But he was in the way. We can say maybe, but okay, yeah, carry on.
No, I think it was like it's a weird decision to scrutinize. That's just my thing, because it's not like
well, every decision should be scrutinized. This is top level football.
Yeah, but then they how many times has that probably not been noticed and won't be noticed?
Let's put a pin in that.
Yeah,
I'll come back to that,
because I think it's hard to say whether he was affecting play or not. But if it was,
it's subjective, right?
Yeah.
And if the referee feels that way, then.
Yeah, that's the referee's opinion, but I don't...
But the referee is following guidelines to get to that decision. So I just don't get it.
The Premier League referees follow their own guidelines.
Okay, but I'm just saying, I just don't get it. It's the rules. The referee is well and within his rights to give that decision. You may dislike it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, but I think that if it was a more important game...
If the referee came out and apologized the next game, or, in the media and said, I got it massively wrong or something. That's the only time I'll ever be like, oh.
I don't always agree with the referees or trust what they're saying. Yeah. So, I'm an Arsenal fan, so Wenger's history with referees, and I share Guardiola's fury if I was a Man City fan.
What is Guardiola's theory?
No, his fury. So he was angry. He was very angry at the referee.
Okay, I see. Sorry. Okay, so I'm a third. Okay, the last thing I want to say is Turkey had some excellent interplay with Ait Nouri for their second goal. Once again, the space was on Newcastle's right-hand side. Lewis Miley got done, and City exploited it.
So what do you think of Turkey?
Excuse me. Excellent player.
But then, okay... Wouldn't he be like a technically creative version of Salah? Because how long will you take his defensive output? Because I did watch a lot of him at Lyon, and even if he works a little bit defensively now, he's not going to do it for very long. And I don't think he's going to be a player. I think he's going to be a player that just wants to do his own thing in attack.
I don't know. Do you want me to be a hypocrite right now? Because sometimes if a player is just at the peak of their power doing, a madness, they shouldn't be burdened with so much defensive responsibilities. But playing at 10, or like an inside 10 where Turkey is, and a winger where Salah is also, the places on the pitch are different and require different responsibility. The midfield is already kind of packed, so a 10, a creative 10, doesn't have to do that much work in midfield, whereas a winger has a much bigger space to cover. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Turkey, by nature of the players, has less defensive responsibilities, so he can focus more on creating, where Salah has the type of player that Liverpool need him to be. He isn't doing, and his output is not justifying not doing those fundamentals.
But this, I mean, a lot of, I guess, his future would be dependent on how Pep wants to play if he's at Man City and if it still is Pep.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Shirky.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, excuse me. I thought we were talking about Salah, so I was like, oh.
No, with Shirky, I think
Yes.
a lot of his future would depend. Because if my assumption is, and we'll speak about the managerial merry-go-round later, but my assumption is that if Pep Guardiola stays at Manchester City, he's going to want to go back to playing the way he always plays.
Mm.
And I don't think he would accept that out of any player. Even if you look at Arsenal now, who are very influenced by Guardiola, at least in terms of how we press. It's Odegaard leads the press a lot of the time, which is why I told you in our personal discussions, I would never, it would be hard for me to replace him with a player with great output, because I've seen Ozil and Aubameyang in that system, and it drops off quite a lot when the work rate drops off. And I think that's the way Pep wants to play. That's the way a lot of Spanish coaches generally want to play.
I think most people with a brain would take the player, all things being equal, the player that works harder, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's ever going to choose the lazier player. Even though the lazier player might be more talented, it's always about work. Like, that's why Conor Gallagher has a career. That's why Mason Mount has a career. A lot of these guys, Jordan Henderson, fraud, absolute fraud. Frauded for 12 years in our team. And, yeah, that's how you get a career, by working hard, bro. I don't know why we were talking about that.
We were just talking about you being a hypocrite.
Yes.
With Shirky and Salah.
Yes. Cherki, by virtue of his position, requires less defensive work, and I think the output that he's doing right now
is not close to the output Salah was doing last year.
Are you being serious right now?
No.
Cherki has 8 assists.
Yeah, and how many?
I mean, that's crazy.
But it's halfway through the season. How many did Salah have?
But he's been
last
injured
year?
for most of it.
Okay,
he missed
good.
8 games.
But I mean, we've seen that
8 assists in 10 games is, in 12 games. That's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy, but it's not like ridiculous numbers. Didn't Salah get more assists last season in less games?
Yeah, bro, again, it's such an unfair comparison. The expectation of Salah as our quote unquote franchise player, to borrow a term from NBA, and Cherki was just a new signing, and the output that each of them are doing.
No, I'm saying you're saying Cherki's quality equates to him being able to be carried by the team. But I think you can only have...
let's take Cherki out of it, right? Let's look at Liverpool. Wirtz has less defensive responsibilities than Salah, right?
Yeah.
And I think that should be the case, because he should be focused on chance creation, breaking the lines, creating.
Yeah.
So use Wirtz as an example, not Cherki, because that's
In terms of historically, though, I'm talking about, I think Salah's output and just his ability to score goals is worth the team carrying him if you can have one player.
His output is not justifying it at the moment, so I'm sick of this. Anyway, we'll get back to
You've always thought he was a fraud.
What are the predictions for you, the second leg of this tie? Newcastle versus Man City.
I think Arsenal and Man City get through.
Just this particular tie.
I think it depends. If Man City play a full team, I think they get another comfortable victory.
Yes. Newcastle's record at the Etihad is awful, and they look tired. It just a second leg doesn't suit either team. I think of any of the 4 remaining Carabao contestants, but
I hate the second leg. I mean, if they cancelled extra time, why couldn't they cancel the second legs?
I don't know. I'm not the person in charge. But yes, it doesn't look good for Newcastle, but they did have some good situations in the game. If Wissa had his shooting boots on, and I have to say, Wissa, it's only been 6 games, but he hasn't lit the world on fire. The point of buying Wissa was that he's a Premier League proven player. He's just plug and play. He'll come in and do the job. to a slighter less extent than what Isaac did. He would just come in and do the exact same job. And he has not done that at all.
I mean, Isaac was very good at Newcastle, so a slightly less extent would still be...
Like, say Isaac was like a 9 out of 10 player at Newcastle.
Or you're saying that you would have expected what Voldemort is doing out of Wissa as well?
I would have expected Visa to be like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Oh.
But he hasn't.
I haven't watched much of Newcastle
because,
this season.
Like I said, he's been injured, so he only started 6 games now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Wissa, if you can get it together, I hope you nail City to the fucking window. Alright, let's go on to our next segment. Chelsea versus Arsenal. So, in terms of Chelsea, I had no idea what to expect. I'd never heard of their new coach, Liam Rosenior, and how he likes to set up... Yes, and how he likes to set up a team. The first thing I learnt is that he likes to play out from the back. Because Arsenal's press nearly caught them out a few times, yet he persisted with playing out from the back. The other thing is that they were missing Reece James, Caicedo, and Palmer, which you could comfortably say are 3 of their best players.
Probably the 3 best players, but I mean, if you spend £2 billion...
No, I'm not making excuses. I'm just, giving context for the game.
Yeah, no, I'm not making excuses either. I'm just saying it requires a level of empathy, but they should have a lot of options at that value of
they did.
Squad assembly.
Andre Santos was a capable replacement for Caicedo. I'm not going to say he's as good or better, but he's capable. Who else played? João Pedro played in the 10. Or who played in the 10? Because Delap started up front, right?
Let me double check. Delap and João Pedro.
Yeah, so Pedro was in the 10. So I'm looking at it now. Guehi started up front, Pedro in the 10. So Pedro is a reasonable replacement for Palmer, and Achimpong is the Reece James replacement. I've never seen Achimpong play. And
I love... Estevao is one of my favorite players. Well, I watched him a lot in Brazil, because I watched the Brazilian league more. Well, not more than the Premier League, but enough to say that he was probably my favorite player there. And he was good yesterday. He was the player who scared me the most as an Arsenal fan. Like, I think he gave Timber a hard time, but Timber also exploited his inexperience a lot, going the other way.
So, from Arsenal's side, they more or less had a full-strength team. You'd obviously say Raya instead of Kepa, and you'd maybe say Calafiore instead of Ben White, and then swap Timber.
And Havertz instead of Gyökeres.
That's your opinion.
I think that would be full strength, though.
Okay. But I think the general opinion is that Gyökeres starts ahead of Havertz.
Is that the general opinion?
I think so, but... you more tapped into the Arsenal fan base, I would think, right?
Yeah, I would think most people were waiting for Havertz. They've never been available at the same time.
Okay. So yeah, I initially thought for the first goal, I thought Sanchez was at fault for it. He just totally he messed up his lines. But I've rewatched it a few times now, and in highlights, and Trossard is stopping him from going for it. Trossard is right up on him, and he stops him from jumping to.
It's a clever tactic.
It
is.
All right. But I would.
He didn't move, did he? He held his position. Sanchez should have done something to get out of the way, to get to the ball sooner.
We were speaking about something in the other match. You said...
I'm also a hypocrite. I don't know what it is.
I was saying about VAR. VAR should have intervened for the first goal, I feel. I really felt that way.
But yeah, it was a good delivery from Rice. So.
And then the rest of the first half just pretty much goes out without any fuss. It was very quiet. Just no good interplay between the players, to get forward. No real precision in attack. It was just kind of the ball getting lost in midfield with both teams. There weren't any final product. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Saka created a lot of space. He created a lot of chances. And
in the
Ben
first
White.
half.
And Ben White as well. Not necessarily in the first
I'm only
half.
speaking about the first
But I
half.
thought Saka created a lot of like opportunities where players didn't read him. They weren't on his wavelength. Like he made a lot of spaces, a lot of passes as well that didn't like kind of get to anyone. But
Okay.
I felt he was threatening.
Yeah. So at halftime, okay. Spoiler alert. Not spoiler alert. Twist. I was at your house this whole time to watch this game, and I left at halftime of the Chelsea Arsenal game. And when I got home, I was just so tired. I went to bed. So you're gonna have to
I
lead the
mean,
discussion on the rest of this Chelsea versus Arsenal game.
I think in the Arsenal did kind of dominate the first half, as chaotic as it was. I don't think Chelsea created really anything. In the second half, I think they started to like dominate possession a bit. They started to pass the ball around quite well. I think Enzo Fernandez was really good in some phases of play, like some of his passing, his diagonals, his line breaking passes were also really good. And I think Estevao was really, really good for like 10 or 15 minutes where we couldn't control him. But I think overall, just Saliba was so good that like unless it was like moments of individual brilliance or our own errors, they didn't really create anything. I think both of their goals came off of errors by us giving the ball directly to them. I think the first goal, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Zubamendi. I'm not 100% sure. He makes like a shitty clearance that lands at. Sorry about that. It makes a bad clearance that ends at the feet of Enzo Fernandez, and I think the attack starts. Or someone passes it to Enzo Fernandez, but yeah. Then after that, the ball kind of ends up at Garnacho, and it was a good finish, but came off our error. And the second goal also, I think it was Timber headed the ball, a bad headed clearance off a corner, and a good finish again. But I think our central defensive partnership and Rice are so good defensively. It's like your guys' front three in a defensive context seasons ago. I struggle to see many teams breaking us down unless maybe they have a De Bruyne in the past. He used to.
What do you mean break you down?
Like in terms of create more chances than us in a game. I don't think a team has had better XG than us this season except Man United in the first game, which was, I think we were just terrible that game. But I think there was one other game, maybe Brighton, the 2-2 draw, where they created more XG than us.
But we just had this discussion about XG, that it's not about should, right?
Yeah,
Say if Arsenal outperform in XG the other team that doesn't necessarily mean they should have won. It just means they had better quality chances.
Yeah, and we do win most of the games since the last 2 seasons, I think, or 3 seasons.
Yeah, but I'm saying winning on XG, quote unquote, winning on XG is not does not indicate that you should have won the match, because an elite team only needs one shot, one goal, one opportunity.
Yeah, but in terms of the XG we give away, sometimes is next to nothing, even against like Europe's top teams. Yeah, Bayern had one shot, and there hasn't been a game yet except Aston Villa where our opponents have really outperformed us. I would say that I don't even think Aston Villa outperformed us really. It was like a terrible game where they had the better of it, but I wouldn't say that they created anything. One was like a Morgan Rogers, another one of his crazy goals, I think. I don't remember the other goal too clearly.
I see. Any other patterns or things you noticed in this game?
I noticed that a lot of Chelsea's patterns, I think the way they got themselves back into the game was kind of reverting back to like Mariska's football. Like they kind of went with the 5-3-2, I mean the 3-2-5, 2-3-5, sorry. I'm getting my numbers wrong, but yeah, they went with the 2-3-5 in possession, and I think that helped Enzo Fernandez a lot. So I think Chelsea passed the ball around more, but we still looked more dangerous. I think we were comfortable kind of like picking the gaps in the field. I would say that we like still gave the ball away sloppy at times, but if there's a problem I have with Arsenal is that we tend to protect the lead more than try double or triple it. But it's not necessarily a problem because I can't say it hasn't worked yet. Like, I'm not someone who thinks it would have made a difference. Like, I think Man City were honestly better than us the 2 seasons we lost the league, and we were so far behind you guys last season. I don't think those like small marginal gains would have made a difference. I think in this season we've been the best team so far, and from a coaching perspective, I don't fully agree with it. Like, I think that's more maybe Arteta's maybe Moyes side coming out, but I don't mind it as long as I enjoy the football, and it's given me a different understanding of defending. But in terms of the game, I wouldn't say like any of Arsenal's patterns were new. In fact, I think Zubamendi, a lot of Arsenal's good play in the second half was individual brilliance from Zubamendi in terms of his like passing, his dribbling, his interceptions, his carrying the ball as well. He was probably my man of the match, honestly. And
Zubamendi.
Yeah.
All right. Any thoughts or predictions for the second leg?
I think Arsenal will win more comfortably in the second leg. Probably like a 2-0, 3-0 as well.
Why is that?
Because we're really good at home. I think we don't look as nervous. Like, when we went 3-1 up, I knew we were going to sit back, and I knew that like Chelsea would create some stuff. I didn't expect Garnacho to be the scorer because it looked like Esteval was going to be the one to break or drag them back into the game. Even when it went 3-2, he really scared me. So I would say that maybe Cole Palmer being back worries me a bit. Reece James,
Caicedo was suspended, so he's definitely back. The other two were injured, so I'm not sure.
Oh, so they won't be back.
Yeah. I mean, they might be, but I'm saying I'm not sure.
Caicedo, I mean, if Enzo Fernandez plays the way he does, he obviously makes a difference. I think Caicedo is one of the best midfielders in the world, but I don't think it'll be enough for for Chelsea to overcome Arsenal, especially with the defensive problems right now.
Right.
I think we had like 17, 18 shots in the game, something like that, 10 on target or something. So even though we didn't play well, we consistently created like chances.
Okay, well, you seem very bullish on Arsenal going through the Arsenal versus City Carabao final. You think?
Yeah.
Right.
I would venture to say so. What about you?
I've been reading online that Arsenal were lucky, that Chelsea were really on them, given, like, if Chelsea come out playing like they did in the second half, in the second leg, they'll easily turn over Arsenal. That's the sentiment I've been seeing online. And this is across fan bases. This is like United fans. I was looking at the post-match thread in the Reddit, on the soccer Reddit.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm, picking from a bunch of biased people. This is just the...
I mean, I don't know. I didn't feel threatened watching the game. So I read like different dissertations from different people as well.
Of course, yeah. I am picking a small sample. You pick a small sample. I'm just trying to add to the conversation. So what I've been seeing is that once Chelsea really got at Arsenal, they like kind of couldn't deal with the pressure.
I mean, both their goals came from our individual errors. It wasn't really like moments of the game where I'd say they just dominated possession.
Once again, I didn't watch the game, so I'm just basing this off what other people are saying.
Like, I guess people's interpretation could be at a visual level, but we've seen that before. Like, I felt that Arsenal dominated before games against Mourinho's Chelsea, and when you watch the games back, you know that Mourinho's Chelsea had a game plan that they executed. And I think people constantly think of Arteta as being the student of Pep, think that Arsenal are going to go blow teams away, whereas I think Arteta is more like Simeone and Mourinho. I think he locks the game out, and
I see.
I wouldn't share those sentiments that Chelsea dominated the game. I think we had twice as many shots.
No, I didn't say they dominated the game. They just, once they got at you, there were opportunities for them.
Yeah,
they
but
weren't as let's say, as imperious as you would think Arsenal were.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the goals came off individual errors, so maybe a Cole Palmer's gonna.
So do you think that perhaps those individual errors came around because Chelsea were pushing up so aggressively?
To a degree, I think the momentum of the game shifted, and I think like Arsenal players became a bit sloppy because like prior to that we were also dominating and all the momentum was our way. Also, when it went 3-1, I think the confidence was like out of the stadium. The atmosphere went dead for a couple of minutes until they scored again. I don't know how many minutes it was, but in that moment I knew Arsenal's game plan was to sit back. So Chelsea have highly technical players. It's not like if you give them that space, they're not going to come at you. But I've seen that against Bayern Munich, I've seen that against Man City, I've seen that against you guys, and we only lost one game to you guys. I think at first I would have thought that, but I think Arteta's plan is to block out leads, to block team spaces, to make it difficult for them to play through, and then when we get the ball, keep it for as long as we can. So I don't think it's necessarily like, I think in possession it might be quite similar to Guardiola, but I don't think out of possession the main aim is to like press the team high. And if people are watching a team pass the ball around and they're thinking, oh, okay, this team's dominating the game, they're pinning Arsenal back, but they're not really making any passes that penetrate the defensive line unless it's like a moment of brilliance. And I think a moment of brilliance is nothing you can really legislate for from a coaching perspective. I think it's just like, yeah, sometimes a player's too good to stop. You'll just accept that. And
Alright. So, do you want to go on to our next topic?
yeah.
This is called the managerial merry-go-round. And I'm not exactly sure what I want to do here. I just kind of want to chat about managers. Because in the last week or so, Enzo Maresca, Ruben Amorim, and Xabi Alonso have all been sacked from their respective jobs. And the majority of the current Liverpool fan base want Slot out. And
what do you make of it? Do you think managers get the respect they deserve?
in terms of what?
In terms of, I guess, with the Alonso one in particular, like, what's your opinion on player power as affects the managerial? I guess like a manager's security, job security.
I guess there's two conversations I would have about Alonso. First of all, he's just not good enough.
That's what you think, yes.
That's my opinion. I didn't say anything otherwise. That's my opinion. I just don't think at the elite level he's ever bested an elite coach. My evidence for this, the Europa League final against the Atalanta guy, I forget his name, Gasparini, and against Slot in the Champions League, we popped them at Leverkusen's home turf, I believe. Or was it at Anfield? Doesn't matter where it was. Wherever it was, we popped them. Right?
And who was Bayern? Didn't he beat Tuchel?
No, Tuchel wasn't there when he was at Bayern.
Who was Bayern manager?
Was it not Company?
No, not yet.
Nagelsmann?
Yeah, he's an elite tactician, isn't he?
Sure, man. But I'm just saying, in big games that I've watched, I've always seen him get outclassed. And maybe it's a small sample size, but
I disagree.
Like,
I think Bayer Leverkusen were a somewhat small team, so every game would have been him punching up, and he won almost every game for a season.
Yeah, but then once you have your reputation, you're not a small team anymore.
Yeah, and he didn't get a chance to, he left, his choice. Maybe it was the wrong decision, but I think people should be allowed to make mistakes.
Okay, but whatever, I'm saying he shouldn't be at Real Madrid. That's the first conversation I want to have. I don't think his talent level it would take Madrid to where they want to go. Alright? Second of all, he's very inexperienced. Part of the same conversation at being at Madrid. I don't think they should have hired somebody so inexperienced.
Mm-hmm.
The other conversation is player power, and that is ridiculous. The players should not be dictating who is the manager and who's not. That, to me, that is ridiculous. I cannot fathom that. So yes, Alonso should have been sacked. but because it's not good enough, not because the players wanted it.
Well, I disagree. Obviously, I would.
Why is that obvious?
No, I mean because we were discussing it now.
Yes.
And so I think it made my stance obvious. I rate him as a manager. I watched maybe like 7 or 8 games of his Leverkusen team. Most of them were like recaps. I mean, I watched the whole games, but I didn't watch them live. But I was really impressed with them, and I think look at Arsene Wenger, for example. It's like, where is he an elite tactician, or is he an elite coach if he didn't win everything every season? I think there was a time where he was elite, even if
that's not a fair judgment.
Yeah, I'm
if
saying
you win everything every season, that's not. Nobody's ever made that claim that you have to win everything every season to be an elite tactician.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think Leverkusen's football dropped off that drastically. Just the first season was so euphoric that people weren't expecting. Like, they still finished second. They still made the Champions League. So it wasn't like...
I didn't say he was bad in the league. All I said was against the really top elite tacticians.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how can you judge someone off the first 2 years of their coaching, 3 years of their coaching?
But
he also beat Hansi Flick.
Look, I understand. Go to, I don't know, just a Spurs. Get experience there. Then go to, maybe Inter Milan. Then go to Real Madrid. Going to Real Madrid straight out of Bayer Leverkusen, that was Madrid's fault.
But they've taken novice managers in the past, or managers that had a small reputation.
But
Vicente Del Bosque.
I feel we're spending too much time on Alonso. Like I said, I feel they were right to sack him because he's not good enough. They should not have consulted players about it. So I've been thinking about how to replace Slot, and I think that conversation
Are you assuming he's getting sacked?
I believe that he signed a 2-year contract, and we never re-upped the contract. So at the end of the season, he's done. So we're just gonna kind of let it play out, and then I assume get a new manager in the summer.
I mean,
because we're not in danger of.
Why do you want to get rid of him, though?
He's just not good enough.
That's where you and I differ. I'm always like, with Unai Emery, that was the only time I was impatient with the coach. And maybe I was wrong, but I think I didn't...
Yeah, but listen, I don't understand this mentality of like, let's give a coach work experience. We're here to win trophies. We're not here to be this person's
so what's
internship.
The guarantee that,
Well, this is what I'm going to get into now, right? So we have to assume that Pep, Ancelotti and Klopp are out of the picture, right? Pep, the rumors are that Pep is going to leave Man City at the end of this season. Part of that is he part-owned a restaurant in Manchester, and that closed down. That's one thing. Another thing is he sold off like a place he was renting in the city, something like that. Just like outside of football things that people are tying to him possibly leaving.
CSI investigative work.
Yes, real life shit, stuff I can't be involved in. So yes, Pep is potentially leaving City, and we have to assume that he's out of the Liverpool reach.
I mean, I don't think he's a snake. So
how is he a snake?
No, I'm saying like
City and us are not rivals.
But you guys were direct, like they were your
No, Everton are our rivals, and United. No one else are rivals.
But in that period,
competing with for a title is not a.
It's like if Arsene Wenger went to Manchester United after the Invincibles.
No, it's if Ferguson went to Arsenal after the treble. That's the better.
Either way, it would have been bad.
Yeah, but I'm saying we have to assume Pep is out of the picture, because if Pep were available and
would you be okay with Klopp going to City?
Yeah, I have no beef with City.
Okay.
like I said, I have beef with Everton and United. That's it. Madrid. But yeah, Ancelotti also out of the picture because Everton, Everton ties. I don't think he's a snake like that. You think, you think he would join Liverpool?
He coached Juventus as a AC Milan legend.
Juventus and Milan are not like
They were heavy enemies at the time.
enemies. Like,
They were very big enemies at the time.
I don't know.
And then he came back to Milan as a coach.
Okay, whatever the case is, Pep, Ancelotti, and Klopp have to be out of the picture. I assume the majority of our fan base would take Klopp back in an instant, and that cannot happen. Klopp had far too much power at the club, and that's what led to, our director of football leaving. Right, so that same director of football has come back and become our CEO. His name is Michael Edwards. Right, he's the guy who masterminded our team under Klopp. So Klopp cannot come back in. He needs to be out of the picture. Ancelotti needs to be out of the picture. Pep needs to be out of the picture. Those are three people that cannot be in the conversation, right? Because all three of them would easily be first choice, I would say, if they were on the table.
But what is the state of the? Okay, that's irrelevant though. So, but I was gonna say, I think Ancelotti, can he develop a squad in the image Liverpool require?
I just think we have the squad right now. Somebody needs to make use of that squad.
And what about defense with Van Dijk and Konate probably gonna leave?
We can buy better we can buy players, bro. I just don't understand this mentality, like, of this person being irreplaceable.
So what if Slot goes deep in the Champions League and finishes top 3 and wins a cup?
I don't think that's enough to save him. It's not about you looking at the output and I'm looking at the process. The games we're playing against smaller teams, he's not tried anything and we're already out of ideas. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from.
It's very frustrating to watch Liverpool play. I'm not Slot out. I believe he can turn it around. The issue is the rest of the fan base is not as patient as I am. That's why I believe his contract is not going to be renewed. And we're going to be looking for somebody else. And I'm worried that we're going to go for Alonso. Like I just mentioned his negatives, why I don't want him. We need to be competing for those big trophies. Him being outfoxed by Gasperini and Slot is not a good sign.
But he outfoxed Hansi Flick.
In what sense?
The Clasico. The last one. Barcelona won yesterday, but the one before that.
Did they pump them? Like what? What is the scoreline?
It was 2-1, but it was mostly the coaching that won them the game.
I don't know. I don't have any information on that. I'll have to research more and get back to you. Right, but the three names that have been coming to me, that I'm, because I've been thinking about this for like 3-4 weeks now. So the first name that has come to me is Enrique. Last week, he said in the press that he hinted that he would like a new challenge, and that challenge would be in the Premier League. And I think the most obvious thing would be for City to go for him. But we're trying to gazump City here. We don't want City to come in and get the best, not the best, but the most attractive manager on the market for what we're trying to do, right? Enrique would be my number one because he's won the Champions League multiple times. He knows how to work at a big club. His style of football is very attractive, and the fan base would love it. The only concern I have over him is that he's never done it with a non-elite team. So there is Barca team that won the treble and then the next season won the double. They had elite players in every position. The PSG team that just won the treble, elite players in every position.
He took a few risks there though.
Okay, but at the end of the day, elite players in every position.
Yeah.
Right? He's not going to have that luxury at Liverpool all the time. we obviously trying to compete on that level now, move into a different stratosphere of buying players, like buying Isaac, buying Verts, buying best-in-class players, not buying potential that could explode. We're buying the finished product now, right? I think Enrique would be the guy to get the best out of that crop of players. And if he's available, like he hinted at, I think he should be our number one target going into it. Do you have any thoughts about Enrique?
Yeah, I think I would say he's one of the best coaches in the world. I'd say Pep Guardiola is number one and Hansi Flick is number two. I'd say he's number three, just behind them. My opinion. And yeah, I mean, if any club could get him, I wouldn't trade Arteta. I still believe in him. But
Arsenal are the only of the big six that aren't looking for a new manager. Even Chelsea, having just gotten a new manager, might be looking for a new one at the end of the
before Arsenal.
Yeah. So, yes. Any other thoughts about Enrique?
No, he's an elite coach. I hope he doesn't go to you guys or Man City. Because, or Manchester United.
We're here to win, right? Slot, he won us the league, thank you. But you've shown that in the future, it's unlikely that you will win us more leagues. We need to be thinking forward. We can't be thinking about past successes.
We have to wait and see about that. I think you guys are still in the Champions League. Anything can happen.
Alright, fair enough. Second name I have is Thomas Tuchel. He, for obvious reasons, he's probably going to wait until after the World Cup to potentially get a new job. So, and it's kind of like a unwritten kind of thing that you don't want to fuck up England's preparations for the World Cup right now, right? Especially if you're an English team. So he would also be available in the summer, in the break.
The English summer.
Yes, the English summer. So the pros of Tuchel, he took an underperforming Chelsea squad where there wasn't a star in every position, but he made it work. He
turned them into the best team in the world for 6 months.
An incredible defensive unit that could not be penetrated.
They were incredible. They were just it was weird. They changed overnight. They honestly became the best team in the world for 6 months.
So he has experience with working with non-optimal players and turning them into winners, right? At least in a cup sense. The concern I have with him is that he played with a back three and it was ugly sometimes. A lot of parking the bus, hitting them on the counter, and not fun countering. It was pragmatic countering. So
that's okay. I don't mind.
He is still my number two because he's such a winner. He's such a, he doesn't take shit from big names. He was at PSG.
His mentality, yeah.
He took PSG to the
Champions
League final with a very incohesive team, and he made it work on many levels.
I mean, they were just was Hansi Flick in the end of the day.
What do you mean?
That beat him.
Oh yes. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. So yeah, Tuchel, he did eventually win it with Chelsea. He's a winner. He knows how to work with non-optimal squads.
And he knocked PSG out.
Yes. My only concern is that the football is ugly sometimes.
But is that's I guess what he was working with at Chelsea. I'd say his Dortmund had the opposite problem. They were too entertaining but not good enough defensively.
I didn't watch enough of his Dortmund, so I can't comment on that. But I can only comment on what I saw at Chelsea.
People thought Aubameyang was one of the best strikers in the world.
He was one of the best strikers in the world, bro. He did so well because, if I recall correctly, I didn't watch these games in particular. I just heard, know the story of it, that Klopp's team kind of fell apart. Tuchel is the one who came in, rebuilt that squad, won the Pokal, their version of the FA Cup, and kind of got Dortmund back on track.
Yeah, no, he did rebuild them.
So for squad building, Tuchel, he's also high on my list. So yes, that's my number 2. Any thoughts about Tuchel?
I rate him highly as well. Like again, I have the same some of the same problems. Like I don't like he falls into the same bracket as Inzaghi. Like I don't like back 3 managers, but I have liked his teams. I like him for some reason, Thomas Tuchel, and I like the way he speaks. As far as like would I want him at my club? Over Arteta, no. But if we didn't have if we had a managerial opening, I wouldn't be upset with Tuchel.
My third choice is Antonio Conte. Again, like Tuchel, when I say horror football, Conte will play some dog shit football sometimes. But at the end of the day, he's a winner. And, who's going to complain with a trophy in the end? Very few people. So, Conte, he's like Tuchel light.
But he hasn't translated it to knockout football yet.
That's the thing. Tuchel hasn't won a league outside of France, I believe, right? Conte hasn't won a Champions League or a Continental Cup competition.
Ever, yeah.
Right. So there's definite, issues with either one of them. But those are just like the cream of the crop that I see. That he went to Napoli and won the league with them. Yeah,
he's one of the best, I'd say.
He can just organize a defense. That's,
After Pep Guardiola, he's probably the best league manager in the world.
So, yeah, those are my top 3 options. I just want to mention Oliver Glasner. Why would I not pick him? Because he hasn't been tested at the top level. Right?
Do you rate him?
I rate him. I rate him as a mid-table manager.
So you put him in like what sort of bracket? Like a Unai Emery bracket?
Yeah. He can't do it at a top job, but he can take a mid-table team and do very well.
Turn them into a European level team.
Yes, that's my feelings about Glasner. You also have to consider at the moment Palace have a very thin squad. That's not his fault. That they're extremely tired. They're not performing at the way he wants them to because that's poor squad building. That's not his tactics or management that's doing that. But he won the Europa League with Frankfurt, I believe.
Yes.
And he won the FA Cup with Crystal Palace. So he's a proven winner, right? My concern is that he does it when there's no pressure on him. At a big club, there's infinitely more pressure on, like, every small detail gets scrutinized, right? Whereas Palace, he can make mistakes, and he... let me just pull up their form at the moment. Let's see. So, Palace lost to Macclesfield, which is a team that was created after the year 2010.
Oh, okay. I played in Macclesfield Town with the FIFA Be a Pro.
They drew with Aston Villa. Okay, decent result. They lost to Newcastle. They drew with Fulham. They lost to Arsenal in the EFL, but on penalties, so, that's pretty good, though. If you take them to penalties and lose on penalties, that's not a...
What about Unai Emery? Well, you can speak about him after that.
All right, but I'm just saying the pressure of a big club, Glasner hasn't faced that, and I don't think he would survive under scrutiny.
Yeah.
Emery, same thing. I just don't believe he would... we've seen him at Arsenal. He didn't... you make this point all the time. I understand this is our first episode, but I just want to say, all that Darren does is talk about how Emery can't take a top club, like a top 4 club and turn them into champions. He can only turn a mid-table club into a Europa level team or a Europe level team.
He can turn any team into a European level team. I think in that context, he's one of the best coaches in the world. Like, there's very few coaches who could have Aston Villa in a Champions League position. Even elite coaches. Like, I don't think Ancelotti could, for example, get Aston Villa to the Champions League with that squad.
Okay.
We saw at Everton he almost got relegated. I think if
He did well at Everton, I'm pretty sure.
he almost got relegated when he left. They were like in the relegation zone by
Yeah.
his second season.
I just remember them really loving Ancelotti.
For when he first arrived, yeah, I think they played some good football, and then things went pear-shaped.
All right. Yeah.
But
So,
again, at Bayern Munich, he struggled. They didn't have an elite squad at the time.
well, I just remember that the Bayern players were upset that they went from Pep, who was like highly regimented and like, very focused on fitness and like, the highest food quality, etc. And then you have like Ancelotti and his team that were chain smoking.
He doesn't give a damn, yeah.
They were chain smoking every practice. Him and the team.
That's how I would coach.
So yeah. Do you
I
have
love
anything
Ancelotti.
else?
I love him. Like, he's probably one of my favorite people in football ever. But in terms of he's a ceiling raiser. I don't think he can raise the floor. I think Unai Emery can raise a floor, not the ceiling. So
Yeah.
and then what would you make about Chelsea though? How 25 years they've been changing coach every 6 months and been one of the best clubs in the world. How long can that continue though?
The thing is, when Roman did it, he was going after best-in-class talents. Liam Rosenior is not a best-in-class talent. Liam Rosenior, as far as I can tell, is just a yes man.
He comes from Strasbourg, who they own.
I'm 100% willing to be proven wrong. Liam Rosenior, if you want to make a big fuss at Chelsea and, really put your stamp on it, fair enough. But from the outside looking in, Liam Rosenior looks like a yes man just brought in to do the bidding of Blueco.
I would agree with that, I think.
So, although on paper it looks the same as what Roman used to do, it's very far from what's happening, in my mind.
But do you think it was a sustainable approach either way to like at some point elite coaches are going to want to stop taking the job, right? Well, it's hypothetical because they'll keep getting sacked from other clubs.
But the thing is, elite coaches always pop up.
Exactly.
The next best thing always comes around, and you use them for a couple of years, get rid. Next one comes around.
And I guess every club is different. Like culturally, Arsenal have probably followed more like the Ajax or Barcelona model, where you give coaches time to implement their own philosophy and their own style, and you win whatever comes in that time,
But Chelsea have won 2 Champions Leagues.
I don't care.
You don't care, bruh. At the end of the day, football is about winning. I know.
Maybe it is, but I'm saying if my team got relegated, I'd still have to support them.
If I was supporting Exeter, or whoever City played that got popped 10-0, I would want them to move up the divisions and win the Champions League. Win the Premier League, then win the Champions League, right? Because that's just, I believe, yes, there's the journey, but at the end of the journey, you need to be progressing every year.
But I wouldn't like, part of the reason I supported Arsenal was because, or stayed supporting them, like, consciously. Because when I was a kid, my favorite players were like Henri and then Brazilian Ronaldo. So I used to support Real Madrid and Arsenal. And once they signed Cristiano Ronaldo,
it was over.
It was over.
Love affair ended.
No, I'm kidding. That wasn't the reason. But the reason I chose Arsenal on a personal level was because I liked the way Wenger spoke. Like, I read a lot. Like, when he did interviews, it seemed like something out of literature. And I liked the way that he was very patient with players. He would take players that didn't work out here and there, didn't work out at other clubs, give them a chance. He turned Dennis Bergkamp and Henri into some of the best players in the world. In a lot of ways, Arteta's more defensive-minded, but he's doing the same thing. He's like taking players that need a second chance and trying to put them in his system, And I would rather win that way than win the Chelsea way. Like, I'm jealous of you guys, the way you guys have won the Champions League. I'm not jealous of Chelsea or Man City.
Fair enough. Do you have any other thoughts about the managerial merry-go-round? Is there any other managers that I perhaps forgot you want to mention? Or
Well, I feel bad for Maresca. I think he hasn't done much wrong. You get sacked 6 months after winning the first iteration of a competition that will probably go on to be one of the big football competitions in the future.
I do wonder why he got sacked. They cited poor form.
And
They had won like 1 in 8, but that's not poor enough form to sack a manager. I don't think.
And I think he.
I think
by every metric since he's been in Chelsea, he's been one of the best coaches in the world. So it doesn't make sense to sack him.
I thought there might be some sort of behind the scenes issues he may have had with the board.
And he questioned them publicly, which maybe Todd Bowley didn't like or Iqbali didn't like. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. But so those are my thoughts about the managers at the moment.
And I mean, obviously with Man United, we both don't like them. But what do you think would be the way forward for them? Like, I did like Carrick at Middlesbrough. I don't think he's going to get the job long term. Again, a back three coach, but he seemed like a decent proponent of the back three. I don't know much about him.
With regards to Amorim, I am astounded
sad that he's left.
I am astounded at the stupidity of United fans. They finished 15th, and people still wanted him as the manager. 15th. In our banter era, we finished 8th. And it was like, all the local forums were like, oh my god, how will we ever recover from finishing 8th? It's so embarrassing. We'll never come back.
I mean, we finished 5th under Unai Emery and I stopped watching games.
Bruh, the standards at United are just below the floor. It's like quicksand. Everything is just going inside there. It's hilarious. The fact that...
But where do you think it comes from? Because they have a new board now, but it seems like the same old United since Ferguson left.
I don't want to be a dick, but I will be. United fans are glory hunters. Not everyone, majority of them. And I would say City fans in, say, 10 years from now. The thing is, when you're young...
And Chelsea fans.
When you're young, most people just support whoever's winning, right? So I think there's a bunch of clueless United fans that just like United because they were winning. And they have a very loud voice within the...
Entitlement.
No, within the fan base. They don't have entitlement. That's my problem. They're willing to accept mediocrity when objectively Man United is the second biggest team in England, right? One of the biggest teams in the world. They have 18 league titles, 3 Champions Leagues. They are a massive club. Like
financially the biggest, I think, in the world.
The minimum should be competing for the title every year. Minimum. They should be, competing for Champions Leagues, competing for titles every year. The fact that they're satisfied with keeping a manager who finished 15th. The fact that they were satisfied with keeping a manager who lost 7-0. The fact that they were satisfied with Ole Solskjaer until Ronaldo came and, ruined the project. It's bizarre to me.
And, where do they go from here? Or, I guess to some degree you could say they were patient with Amorim if they had a top coach and they were that patient with him. But how much does
you judge on fundamentals, right? Amorim, he didn't understand why, like against a Burnley, they were playing a back three, and when you need a goal, you put men forward, right?
Didn't he say something like he was brought here to be the manager, not the coach?
Yes. He was
ridiculous for someone who
was
constantly talking about his defense.
He was sacked due to comments he made in the media, not because of his performance, and that tells me how stupid Ineos is as well, that they would accept that.
Because the thing is, how bad is their squad? Is it where
they
do
have
you rate
a good squad?
So then, if the squad building isn't that bad,
they have a top 8 squad. Let's say that.
So the squad building falls off at the level of the coach, I guess. Or are they also looking for a yes man?
For example, Mbeumo, I think that's a good signing, regardless of what system you're playing, because he can fit in many types of systems, right? Cunha as well, good signing.
Mbeumo's a bit like Salah though. So
He is. He is a bit like Salah, but a lot more
defensively active.
Yes, that.
Proactive.
I'd like a Mbeumo better. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
I don't. I mean, I wish we had Salah, so it's hard for me to say. Like, if
you wish you had Salah from 5 years ago, not watch Salah.
No, I mean, I wish we had a player with that sort of career.
Mm.
I watched him a lot, so I liked him. I don't know. I didn't get frustrated. I thought okay.
My greatest. Okay, we can actually. Are we done with managers or what were we just saying?
Oh no, I mean, I think we have to finish the.
Man United.
Yeah.
In isolation, the signings that they've made are not bad. Sesko is an up-and-coming good striker. He has good positional sense. He has some pace on him. You know, you shouldn't be buying that type of player. You should be buying... Actually, they should be buying that type of player, right?
And they have one of the best 10s in the world.
In Bruno.
Yeah.
Right? But they're not making... Amarim's system was not making use of Bruno. You know, so... Amarim was just a wrong fit all the way around, and I believe it was Ineos's like pride that they didn't want to, admit that they made a wrong decision.
Yeah.
So, yeah, United are just a mess, and I kind of love it.
But
I do love it.
If the squad is good or decent, like I guess if they make the right managerial appointment, can it like paper over the cracks for a little while, which would be good for everyone else, because let's just say everyone like kind of rated Ten Hag highly before he took that job. Not a lot of people watched Ajax. I watched Ajax that season in the Champions League, and I saw that they were very easy to play against. They just had Frankie de Jong was exceptional that season, and Donny van de Beek, so they kind of always created more chances than their opponents, and that benefited them. But you could see it was kind of a one-season thing. It like if you took de Jong out their team, they were going to lose a lot of games.
I think if Thomas Tuchel comes and takes over United, not a single player change, they will finish top 4.
Yeah, and what do you think? So then that's, I guess, the difference. It's like I think they have a top 4 squad, and then I guess the next one.
I don't think they have a top 4 squad. I just think Tuchel will get so much value out of the players that they will end up top 4.
But then it's like the same thing could be said of Chelsea if they had made the right. There's not saying that Liam Rossinha won't be the right choice, but
like I said, I have no idea about him. I don't want to speak about him because I have no...
I don't want to talk from a place of ignorance, but let's say if he is the right choice, if he turns out to be an elite coach, then Chelsea could also... They have a squad that...
I'm not talking... whether he works out or not, I'm saying it's a risk. Right? We have no evidence for Liam Rossinha at a top club. Tuchel, it's less of a risk because he's been a success at a top club.
Would you say it's a guarantee, though?
It's not a guarantee. I'm just playing the numbers. If it's a 10% this person's going to fail, and there's 50% that this person's going to fail, you're obviously going to take the 10% because it's a lower...
Because as long as...
you're just playing numbers.
It's like, it's been a weird kind of banter era, I guess, for Man United, because they've won a lot of things during that era. They've won like a couple FA Cups, I think the Europa League, more than the average club that goes through a banter era. Like when we went through it, we won absolutely nothing, you know. So it's like they're still a huge club, like you said. They can naturally attract players off their name, and it's like if Jose Mourinho went there, and the best he could do is second. I think he got like 87 points or something. I mean, Pep Guardiola's obviously going to finish second to... But I think it eventually got unworkable for him. Whether that happens at every club or not, it's another question. But I think he's really the only elite coach they've had recently. So I understand what you're saying about Thomas Tuchel, but then is the job going to like mess him up the same way it did Mourinho, I guess? Is that not like...
At United?
Yeah, like I'm saying, like, is he not going to be like, oh, I can get this team to second?
What messed up Mourinho?
like I think whatever happened, I'm not sure. Like the team fell out of form, but there's it's very odd that like the team went from finishing second to like being so out of form, and he was questioning the board, and all of that went like hand in hand. Like I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but I think the board can make things unworkable for a coach to where the squad can be divided, players can turn against each other, turn against the coach, and then all of a sudden you have an environment where even an elite coach is looking beneath their best.
Okay. Well, we got to wrap up soon, but I just want to throw out one rogue name into the managerial merry-go-round. Would you take them at any club? His name is Jose Mourinho.
It depends.
I read an article today that said Florentino Perez is looking at getting Mourinho back.
I think he could do well in that. Well, it depends what like the expectation is, because in that specific instance, I don't think he would be a good replacement, because I think Barcelona are going to be one of the best teams in the world under Hansi Flick, and I think that being the direct competition, just like he did with Guardiola the last time, he couldn't compete, even though he'd probably put together at that time the second best team in the world. And I guess the other one we can talk about before we close is, because I don't think he's going to last very long, is Thomas Frank. I completely misjudged that one. I thought he would do well.
Same, bro. His throwing coach is currently above him in the table.
That's the crazy.
It's not looking good, bro. I also got it very wrong. Watching Thomas Frank on TV, where he breaks down tactics, and he seems so knowledgeable and so like with it, and then he gets to Spurs and he just seems so out of his depth, and that's why Frank at Spurs is what made me less bullish on Glasner.
So, if you were Tottenham, where do you go from here? Because he's definitely going to get sacked, let's be honest, probably even maybe by the time this episode comes out. What
are Spurs' aims?
I think last season they got lucky. They're definitely not a Champions League level team, and there's no way they qualify for it again. So
they want to, just thinking in terms of a Spurs fan, in the next 2 years, I want to get back in the Champions League. Qualifying through, like, finishing top 5, right? Who is going to take the squad and get the most out of it? Conte is out of the...
For me, someone I would go for out of left field. I know he just signed for Juventus, but I would go for Spalletti. If Tottenham could prize him out of any club, I would want him at Arsenal. He's probably one of my favorite coaches in the world.
Spalletti is a... Let's put a pin in that. Right. Last thing I wanted to say... Oh, Alonso. That's Spurs.
That could work as well.
I think that would be his level, or the stepping stone to where he wants to go. But I think his reputation is higher than Spurs.
Yeah.
I think maybe even Man City might be looking at Alonso.
What if... it could also be that Man City try to get Kompany and he goes to Bayern.
Kompany is another fraud. I don't like him.
Yeah, but...
Constantly outclassed in big games. I'm thinking about the Inter game last season over 2 legs.
Yeah, but Inter were very good at the time.
Whatever the case is, every time I see Kompany against a big club, I just think this guy's getting cooked.
Well, he beat Chelsea this year, and they do well against the big teams. He lost to us.
Is Enzo Maresca like a super elite manager? He's young in the game.
Yeah, he's young in the game, but I would say so is Kompany, so you can't judge either of them. But I understand what Bayern are doing if they're going to give him time.
I don't like him at Burnley. I don't like him at Bayern.
I don't like him as a man manager. Mm-hmm. I think that seems to be a big problem of his. But he has an idea that... my thing is, I think Man City might go for him out of loyalty.
Mm. Okay.
Or affinity, I think that's the word,
Alright, so we're done here. Yeah. Managers, speaking about managers.
Yeah,
Last maybe like 2 minutes, I just want to chat about AFCON.
Oh.
Salah got knocked out. I've been told that Salah...
He didn't get knocked out. There's still a 3rd and 4th place playoff.
Okay, I don't give a fuck, right? Fuck Salah. Fuck Egypt. I kept getting told that actually it's Salah that's carrying this whole Liverpool team. If Salah falls apart, then Salah cannot be benched, because if Salah is benched, that means we're benching our best player.
And how is the season going compared to last season?
Let me tell you this: we're on an unbeaten run since he left to AFCON. Take that into consideration. You won't mention that, will you?
I'm just saying I like him.
What?
Okay.
And if we win the Champions League
let's
this year...
say, I knew this was going to become a debate about Salah, but who is the best Premier League winger of all time?
At the moment.
Of all time.
Maybe Henry?
No.
Why
not
no?
as a winger. He didn't do much as a winger.
Didn't he join as a winger?
Yeah, but he didn't do much as a winger. His
Ronaldo?
first season was quiet. I mean, if you're going to take 2 seasons, then as a peak, Ronaldo.
He's won more at United than Salah won at Liverpool.
Yeah, he wasn't the key player though. Wayne Rooney was arguably the key player.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like Salah was the fundamental player.
It devalues Milner's titles because he wasn't the main player.
It doesn't devalue it, but I think it's like Ronaldo wasn't playing with the same level of expectation as Salah, in my opinion, at Man United.
I just think you make all these excuses for Salah. He's just he's a good player. Legend is a strong word. They're telling me he's better than Gerrard. These people who've never supported this club, that are here just because Salah is at the club, are telling me he's better than Gerrard. And that is something I cannot abide that.
That's a biased personal debate.
That's not bias.
No.
Gerrard's a better player than Salah. Doesn't matter position.
Yeah, okay.
Overall player.
And the same way you were saying it's unfair to compare this and that player.
No, fuck the comparison. Gerrard's better than Salah.
And Salah is much better than Shirky as of right now. As a footballer, Shirky has a lot to do to prove himself to be anything close to Salah.
Okay. Whatever. I really didn't give a fuck about AFCON since Bafana were knocked out, so...
And, I mean, the one thing I can say is that the standard of football has come on a long way.
In AFCON?
In AFCON.
Mm.
Yeah, in AFCON, in terms of... It's the best AFCON I've watched so far. I haven't watched all the games, but the games I've watched, the Morocco-Nigeria game was really good, I think. Morocco looked like a competent team with like an idea, like a philosophy and an idea. I think they can be a team that pushes what's the word? Pushes the envelope a bit for Africa in the World Cup, like they did at the last World Cup. So things are looking good on that end, I would say.
Okay, just to wrap everything up that we are talking about, the name I was going to mention with Doku is Spalletti, because it was Spalletti who was the one who turned Salah into elite winger at Roma. Spalletti is the one who turned Kvaratskhelia into elite winger at Napoli. Spalletti with wingers is cash money, right? And I was thinking Doku with Spalletti, if he went on loan to Juventus, maybe that would straighten him out. I don't know. But
Spalletti is probably my favorite coach in the world outside of Pep Guardiola. I love him as a person, and that affects like my idea of his football. But like in a way, it's weird because I'm like probably one of Arteta's biggest defenders, but he's like the anti-Arteta in a lot of ways. He's not practical.
You play 10-1 formation.
10-1.
Or 10-0, sorry.
Everything is chaotic. The players are bunched up close together half the time and relies a lot on individual brilliance. But I think the thing I liked about Arteta, like, I have an affinity for like revolutionary thinking. When Arteta came into Arsenal, to come in and play defensive football, is revolutionary given Arsenal's history of attacking football. People can say that, oh, okay, you don't go back, you don't play defensive football, but I think Simeone, for example, let's take Simeone. Atletico Madrid were probably about to get relegated when they employed him, and
I disagree with that.
when Simeone came
I'm
in,
pretty sure they won the Europa League before they signed
no,
him.
they won the Europa League after they signed him.
Okay, Karen speaking. I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of when did they win it? In 2006, right?
What?
The Europa League, the UEFA Cup.
No, 2011.
Oh yeah, he was there in 2011, right? Definitely.
Well, I'm fact checking you now. We'll see. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But in terms of what's up?
Just loading.
Oh, was I wrong?
It's loading.
No, I might have been wrong, but in terms of I think they had to change their brand of football. I think even before he came in, maybe they were defensive, but Chelsea, for example, I think they had played expensive football under Ranieri, from what I understand, and it wasn't working out. Mourinho came in. Porto. Mourinho's work at Porto can be considered revolutionary. So Capello, going back to those days, I didn't watch much, but Capello was probably one of the biggest proponents of Catenaccio football.
Yeah. So they won the Europa League in 2010, and Simeone joined in 2011.
Oh, okay. Who was the coach in 2010?
Quique Sanchez Flores, former Watford.
Yeah, I remember him. But either way, I think that it's the first time that they've been consistently, I would say, like a club that's performed, been amongst Europe's elite, as long as I can remember. I don't remember Atletico Madrid being there. I remember Valencia being there under Rafa Benitez, who was also a defensive coach, and that was revolutionary. I mean, Rafa Benitez won the Champions League with you guys playing.
Defensiveness is not revolutionary. I'm sick of what that you're saying, right? Defensiveness is a coward's tactic.
I disagree, but I think there's different traits. It's like you can't make everything technical. Some players are defensive.
I just think attack, and
that doesn't make sense to think that and then say that Guardiola is better than Klopp.
Guardiola is better than Klopp. The trophies tell the story, bro.
Because he cared about defending.
Oh, whatever. I'm done here. Do you want to end the episode?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, all the things.
What else? Repost. Thank you for listening.
Yes, so this is obviously our first episode. We may not have all the socials up at the moment, but the moment they are, please do go ahead, give us a follow, share, maybe tell your friends about it. And thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
All right, cheers. Bye.
Bye.